very good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to Startup Lanes. Hope you all are doing great. I'm Shishira, Community Manager at Startup Lanes. Startup Lanes is an ecosystem for startups and investors, a place for angel investors and venture capitalists to find investing opportunities in potential startups. Shishir Gupta is the founder and CEO of Startup Lanes. He has more than 20 years of business experience in different domains. He has an international consultant for venture capital and startups having global rank of 12 by Clarify.fm. Okay, so I'll be your host and the moderator for today's panel discussion on how to build a sales funnel. Let me give a quick mention of the rules. Okay. Raise your hands before speaking. Wait for your turn to speak. I request you to keep your cameras on while you're speaking. Keep your microphones off when another person is speaking. If anyone has any question, please mention it in the chat box simultaneously or wait for your turn to ask. I thank you all in advance. Let's get started. Our first panel speaker is Karan Bharadwaj. So, are you here?
Yes, I am. Thanks a lot.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
We'd be really happy if you could switch on your camera, please.
Sure. Just multiple things going on, and that is why I had switched it off. So I'll probably be doing that. Okay, you can hear me now, right? You can see me.
Yes, perfect. Please go ahead.
Right. Well, the most important thing that I want to talk about today, building a sales funnel is actually a subset of building an entire strategy to go behind a customer. And the only thing that we need to keep in mind is people confuse sales funnel with marketing funnels. And these two things are pretty distinctive in nature. You cannot confuse one with the other. And that is a mistake that most of us do, and which is why closing on to a deal becomes very, very, very difficult for most of us. So telling you exactly what a marketing funnel is, or defining what exactly a sales funnel is, and which subset of sales funnel should we look at, is what I'm going to probably give my 2 cents of advice on. So let me tell you what exactly a sales funnel is to begin with. The top of the sales funnel is exactly where the marketing funnel ends. And this is where you're attracting the prospect to your business, telling him what your business is all about, and ensuring that some part of your business percolation and some part of his ideology of whatever business the client is dwelling in, they are coinciding with each other. Otherwise, that goes as a wasted lead. The second thing that you need to make sure is that, which is the middle part of your sales funnel, and this is just exactly before your sale commences. So let's say you have a jewelry store and you have a landing page where people are actually interacting and filling up the form on your jewelry page website. So that is your middle part. And the bottom part is where you're actually converting that customer into a potential customer into an actual customer, which helps you make a final purchase. Now, most of us confuse the fact, or probably the traditional method of looking at a sales funnel is looking at where he is based out of, or what the target segment is, or what is his age group, what is the gender. But this is basically a demographic sales funnel. Well, initially, about I would say a decade ago, demographic sales funnel was really valued, and that is how social media helped us target down to the exact audience and helped us sell them better. But what we need to realize now is, with the changing times, people from every subset could be your customer, and it's not really defined on the area, the gender, the sex of the person, or the likes, or the kind of domain he is in. Because even a millennial, we are living in an era where even a millennial could be your customer, and he's probably not from the same age group. The reason why we have seen this entire evolution from the earlier kind of demographic sales funnel to a psychographic sales funnel, is what I would like to call it, is because of the evolution of the social media. So the value of the data that every social media company holds is because they have the answer to your specific problem, what your interest is, what your desires are, what your goals are, and where you're spending most of your time, your dwell time on each and every platform, and that is how they are evaluating data. And these kind of options were actually not available earlier. So when a 60-year-old person is browsing through various options that he had before social media really became a non-target oriented, he could only see the things that are of his use. However, now things are different. Now, even if he's a 60-year-old senior citizen, he could definitely be your customer for a website which he's looking to get designed, and he's probably entering into a business which sales funnel development is much more important than a demographic sales funnel development. So, but essentially the four stages will still remain the same. Creating the awareness about your product, developing the interest in the mind of a client, propose or seducing him to make a decision as fast as he can, and then eventually going ahead for the action. So you can close the deal. So how you close the deal and how you get into the skin of the client, make sure that he believes in you rather than the product, is a part of the sales process, and that's a separate discussion altogether. But my advice over here to all the entrepreneurs and youngsters listening is that ensure that your sales funnel is more psychographic driven rather than demographically driven, and ensure that right from the time your marketing funnel ends and your sales funnel start, you're just coinciding the two and not creating a confusion between the two. So though marketing and sales are subsets of each other, and you look at them as one entire product, but they are very, very distinctive in nature. And whenever you are seducing a client and introducing a product, you have to realize whether that timing when you're doing it is a part of your marketing funnel or your sales funnel. So yeah, this is how I would like to start the discussion and pass it on to my other panelists.
And that's really, I appreciate your inputs here. Do you have any questions over here, please? Please raise your hand, or you can continue the panel discussion. Okay, our next panel speaker would be Nilesh Jadhav. So please.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Nilesh Jadhav, and actually I'm heading marketing division at Innovator Web Solutions. So basically, today's topic is all about the sales funnel. So let's go to basic again. The gentleman rightly said that funnel is nothing but the way it looks like. It looks like this. Okay. So at the top, the area is wider, and then it goes shrink at the bottom. Okay, so sales funnel is nothing but this is how every business sales works. Let's take example of a mall where lots of people walks into the mall. Let's say in a day you have 10,000 people walks in. So out of which, let's say you have one shop. Let's say you're selling shoes in that particular mall. Maybe 2,000 people walks in your shop to see your product, and eventually maybe 200 people will purchase your product. So this is what the sales funnel is. How many people walk into the business, how many people engage with your business, and actually how much sales happen. So this is what in the nutshell the sales funnel is. And I would like to mention the importance of the sales funnel is because there are certain businesses, the sales is happening, but somehow they don't know how the sales is happening. Okay? Unfortunately, if there is some crisis comes, they don't know what to fix. That's the big problem with such kind of a business. They know, okay, we are getting sales, we have, we are working since very long, but somehow they feel that, okay, there is some company is coming, let's say 2-3 years old, and we are 50-year-old company, but they have taken lots of market share. They don't know now what to do, because the problem is they don't have a proper sales funnel fixed. And the importance of the having sales funnel is you know what to fix now. Okay, you might say, okay, there are lots of business come and say, okay, I have lots of traffic, but I don't get sell. That means the gentleman earlier said that what is your psychography of the audience who are coming into your sales funnel or business funnel. That means the people who are actually coming into the funnel, they are not having the psychography of buying your particular product. That means you are attracting wrong kind of customers. Okay, so having the funnel will help us to fix the problem as early as possible, and it's all data driven. Where the leakage is happening, whether we are not getting the huge traffic, that is whether it's that the problem. If we are getting the traffic, the problem with, let's say, they don't engage with our product, that is number 2. And number 3 is okay, they are engaging with our product, but they are not buying it. So we know the data points, where to fix it, and fix each and every stage, so that you can keep increasing the sale. Also, you make your business very sturdy for very long term. Okay, so this is what the sales funnel is. This is what actually I wanted to explain. That what is the sales funnel, what is the importance of the sales funnel, and it works across businesses, whether it's an offline business or whether it's an online digital business. So as we discussed, let's take a very small example. Let's say we have a bakery, or let's say we sell a cake. Okay, the thing is, you also know that it's a local business. Okay, it's a local, like maybe 1 or 2 kilometer radius only people will buy cake. And how frequently we are going to buy the cake. Okay, so what they do, they keep one product at their in their cake shop or cake bakery, which is a low ticket size, but the frequency is very high. Maybe a small piece of samosa of 10 rupees or 15 rupees. That is just to bring, or maybe a small pastries also. So that is just to bring the traffic in, huge traffic in, so that they get habituated with the brand. And at the end, when they have a tendency to buy a cake, they will remind that particular cake shop and they will go and buy that particular cake. Let's take example of also McDonald's. Okay, eventually, if McDonald's keeps selling a single burger, they will be in loss. The thing is, they just display our burger is, let's say, whatever, 20 rupees one burger, and it's very cheap, and you can just take it 30 seconds, you will get the burger, and it's a quick snack. The thing is, when you go, that is just to attract the customer. When you go on the McD, you will find every McD, the guy who is selling it, he will keep upselling you the meal. Okay, he will say, okay, can I add this, can I add that? So selling a 20 rupee burger or whatever 30 rupee burger is just attracting the huge traffic. Eventually at the counter they will upsell it. This is the sales funnel of McDonald's. So each and every business needs to have a proper sales funnel. They will have to understand where I can bring the traffic. So this is the funnel where I can bring the traffic inside the funnel, and that needs to be also proper psychographic, so that they will engage with our particular product. They will ask, okay, what do you have? How do you do? Can you do with my product, or can your product or service help me? This is my business problem, and eventually they will end up selling. So this is what I would like to term as the sales funnel of a business. And yeah, I'm open for the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neeraj sir. Do we have any questions here? Yes, Harshad Gupta.
So, how will it work in the edtech companies? Like when the product cost is like similar, there will be no upselling in the product cost. So, how will the sales funnel work over there?
So let's take example. You said edtech, right? Education, right? Can we take the example of maybe Byju's or like that you want to mention, or maybe a coach digital product?
Yeah, Byju's is fine.
Okay. So Byju's is something like let's understand. Let's take simple example. I worked with Byju's for selling their IAS product. Okay, they have a Byju's IAS. Okay, so we first of all, number one, they need which are the people who will capable of buying Byju's IAS. Let's say the people who are interested to do IAS and they will enroll for the course, and they will give the UPSC or whatever MPSC exam. So the thing is, first of all, we have to understand the psychography of the UPSC aspirants. That okay, first of all, they need to. So they are in the 3 stages. One is, let's say, maybe they just want to discover. They just discovered that okay, I have to prepare for the IAS. Then they are in the search mode. They want to know, okay, is there any something free course or something available so that I can keep learning it. Okay. Second is somebody who is, let's say, maybe working or maybe having a certain kind of a bill plan, and they want ready course material so that they are ready to invest that particular product. They want to understand, okay, what exactly you are going to offer, and they will check at multiple places. And at the third, they will take a decision of going for one of the service provider. In this case, let's say Byju's AI. So these are the 3 stages of IIS experiment. So number 1 is to touch and feel the product. Okay, to touch and feel the product. You see what they have done. They have created a YouTube channel where they kept all the mock classes as a free of cost. There's a 2 hour, 3 hour long free of cost, so that they get a touch and feel of the product. Okay, so you can come to my YouTube channel and you can watch mock and you can see what kind of features I'm having in Byju's. Imagine what if you buy my 1 lakh rupee product, you will get such kind of a feature. So that is very top-notch mock classes are kept into the YouTube. That brings the huge traffic, free of cost, organic traffic. Okay. Number 2, you need to. So as we discussed the sales funnel, we need huge traffic. So what we discussed is just half of the part, which is organic traffic. Okay, they go on the YouTube, they search, mock UPSC classes, okay, near me, and they found the Byju's popped up, and they attended that particular session. Number 2, we have to consider as a business the traffic is commodity. Traffic is not something. Let's say, imagine I'm from Bombay, I go to Bangalore, and I want to stay there. Day 1, I can stay there. I just have to rent the place. And then eventually, let's say my plan is, to stay there for 20 years. Eventually, after 2 to 3 years, I'm planning for buying home into Bangalore. So that is what the organic is. That is for long term, it will benefit me. But from the day 1, I can rent a home. So this is how the traffic works. Traffic, I can buy the traffic from Google and Facebook, so that I can attract these particular buyers into our funnel. So this is how our funnel. We have organic traffic from the YouTube. We have paid traffic from the Facebook, Instagram, which is cheaper nowadays as of now. And also definitely Google helps us. So we have organic, we have paid traffic coming in. So more traffic comes into this sales funnel who are actually aspirant for IIS. I will create them you have a touch and feel with my mock test and mock class, and then if you are interested to talk to my counselor, then I have a form. You can just fill your lead or mobile number. My counselor will give you free session. Again, that is a second stage where they will. I will give my mobile number, and maybe that magnet is, let's say, download maybe a mock test for free. And you can give your mobile number. So I'm IIS aspirant. I will give my number. I will take that mock test because that is what my need is. So IIS gave me, Byju's gave me videos. They gave me free mock test. I given my number to them. They come to know that the counselor comes to know, okay, this person is interested in IIS. So they will call me. They will say, okay, you are interested. So would you like to know about our product? Since they have gone through this funnel, they have touch and feel of my Byju's product. It's very high likely that they purchase, because now I'm engaged, more and more engaged with the product. So this is how the sales funnel, like education, work. If you now replace this Byju's with any other, maybe White Junior, that particular, they have a free session for the coding session for the kids. You replace any education, you will have the same funnel, that they will have organic traffic with the free classes. Then they have a paid lead magnets, and then at the end the counselor talk. And if the product size is cheaper, if product size is, let's say, 5 to 5,000 or something, you don't need a counselor also. But if product size is maybe 1 lakh or something, then you need a counselor over there to convince it more. So this is what offline, online, the gentleman rightly said, at the end of the marketing funnel, the sales funnel begins. The sales actually happens while the counselor talking to the aspirant and then converting it for 1 lakh rupee product. I hope I answer your question, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Karan, sir.
Yes, so I was just wanting to add on Rish's point that Byju's is a very good example. After even raising tons of money, and they could have, it's a fact that they are sponsors for the ICC and they have the best ambassador, the most expensive one, Shah Rukh Khan for that matter, advertising for them, and that's a very tactical call. You might. The minute you replace Shah Rukh with a Salman, the entire brand goes for a toss. The wittiness that Shah Rukh Khan brings is something that no other actor could in Bollywood probably could match. Now, what they have done is they've got about 1,500 people, on the street, actually wanting to build relationship with parents. And even though the course is expensive, their marketing effort and the sales effort, while they're taking this entire thing from online to offline as well, it's still worth it, because when you acquire a parent once, you will see that the relationship that the person on field is actually building with the parent, he will land up nurturing it, and also in the next year he's likely to sell the same course again to the parent. So the loyalty that Byju's bring, the kind of spend that they have done initially, though the model is excellent. I mean, let's not talk about the company and how profitable they can get, because they are more haters of Byju's today rather than lovers. But I think Ravindran has done a really fantastic job as far as marketing the entire thing. It's only that Karan Shroff from White Hat Junior or other edtech platforms, they've just followed suit. So the leader is Byju's, and that is why it's it was the first company which turned into a unicorn. So a lot of lessons that can be learned from there. And the product also, it's right that the strategy might be a little pushy, but once you have that product, which is something so expensive, parents who think that the value proposition that Byju's brings is something that even if they could not afford it, they've started getting acquainted, getting their children acquainted with that, so that they become a loyal customer to Byju's. So they have actually surpassed the marketing funnel and sales funnel and developed their own relationship funnel with each and every potential customer that they have got, and tied up with them for life, because it's a very premium product. So that's what I wanted to add to this.
Okay.
I have a question. Sorry if I can interrupt.
Dheeraj, 1 second. We'll just continue with the question. Rajan sir, please.
Actually, I wanted to move to another. So is it okay if I share my views and then I?
Sure.
Yeah. So thanks. Actually, I cannot, open up the video because I'm in some other place.
That's okay.
Sorry for that. So I think basically when we talk about the sales funnel, I think I always believe in the traditional things which are proven and tested. So IDA, which is awareness, interest, desire and acquisition. I think this is the kind of a process to be followed for any company for that matter. Okay, so I would say from my own experience, traditionally what we used to do is when we used to go out on the sales field, what we used to actually meet as many number of customers as possible, so that our funnel is huge. And then when you actually have the big funnel, and then it becomes a inverted triangle. From that funnel, you actually find out who are the suspects, remove them, then you find out the prospects which are there, and then for the prospects again you classify them maybe into A, B or C category. Okay, so if you have the wherewithal, resources to manage all the A, B and C category, you manage them. If not, you actually leave out the C or B and just focus on the A first. Because if you are a small company which is a startup, there is no point in actually going after the entire sales funnel. Normally what happens is, now if you see any sales funnel for that matter, there will be a conversion ratio. So for offline, the conversion ratio would be slightly higher than an online. Maybe 10-15 years back, we never spoke about the online sales funnel. We were focusing mainly on the offline, where the salesperson used to go and meet the end customer. And the conversion ratio was also a bit higher, because when you meet personally, you automatically develop a relationship. That is number one. You are better able to convince your product, which is number two. And you can judge the customer better, whether he's a real prospect or a suspect, or he just taking you for a ride. So that was it. Now, when we separate out the businesses, one is where you have a B2B customer, second is you have a B2C customer. So normally a company should understand where my target customer lies. When you actually do the STP, that is segmentation, targeting and positioning. So you identify first of all which is my segment. Once you target that segment, should I take the online route or the offline route? That's what next stage I should decide. If I am selling a product which can be sold very easily through an online mechanism, I have a kind of a system which is a software, a platform like an app or a website through which I can meet the customer needs, very well you can go an online route. But if you are selling a product which is a high value product, which is a physical product, then you actually, the customer who's going to buy a product which is more like a OPEX driven or a CAPEX driven, he will not go purchase through online. You will need to have a physical meeting, interaction with that particular customer. So based on, suppose you are selling services like Byju's or someone, that's fine. You you can focus more on online and less on offline. But if you see, Byju's has got more than 30,000-40,000 sales force actually going and meeting customers. So a company which is focusing on online, it is also equally giving weightage to offline. So that's one. But for a startup, initially what happens is, because he doesn't have so much of money, he's bootstrapped, the better option would be he focuses on online customers first. He builds up his a little base, and actually he identifies which is his target segment. What happens is, suppose I am selling an educational product. I feel students are my customers. But when he actually goes into the market and he does a lot of marketing, a lot of downloads are there, a lot of customer inquiries are there, but there is no revenue. After some time he realizes, the students are not my customers. Even though the product is being consumed by the student, my actual customers are their parents. I have to change my strategy. Then what he does, he goes and changes his strategies. But online, you are not spending too much. It is going to take a risk. That's fine. You spend an X amount of money. But if you had spent that money offline, it would be huge, and you would go bankrupt within no time. Sometimes, the teacher could be the influencer, and he's actually focusing on the parents. Wrong. You should. Then first of all, your target segment should be very, very clear for a startup. Then second thing is, you should actually focus on a limited area. Rather than going all India, across Maharashtra, you should say that I will focus only on Mumbai. And maybe in Mumbai, I will focus on Andheri or Thane or Borivali, where the population is more, where the student population is more, where the schools are more. Then again, he should try and find out whether this model is working. So if my model is working, my funnel that I am creating, my conversion ratio initially was 1%, now it has gone to 4%, now it is going to 6%, max 10% it can reach, not more than that. But if it is increasing, then his target, I would say, his process and his sales funnel building process is right. Only when he is convinced that my funnel making process is right, he should actually start spreading himself. Otherwise, he will spread himself thinner and he will not get anything out of it, because he will be very happy. 1 lakh download मेरे ऐप का तो हो गया, but revenue किधर है भाई? ऐप का डाउनलोड 1 लाख है, 5 लाख है, 10 लाख है, धंधा किधर है? पैसा नहीं है. मुझे इन्वेस्टर्स मेरे ऐप में या मेरे बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे. Why are they not investing? They are not investing because there is no proven revenue track record you have created. Just by having downloads or just by having a huge sales funnel doesn't mean you are going to get money out of it. बिजनेस करने के लिए हम लोग बैठे हैं. आपके पास भले 1000 कस्टमर है, but उसमें से if I get 100 paying customers is better than having 1 lakh downloads and not having 10 or 15 customers. So that's what he should understand. He should follow the basic principle of awareness, interest, desire, acquisition, like for his brand or his product or his service. Create an awareness first, build that interest, then automatically once he builds the interest, desire will be there and acquisition will be there. Okay, so I think that's what I think my 2 cents of were, and thank you so much for calling me for this discussion today.
Thank you, Rajin sir. Thank you so much. Dheeraj, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. So, sir, Nilesh ji and Rajan ji, and they're all explaining us about how to go about, making a sales funnel and where to, let the prospects in and how to remove the suspects out and all those things. But I felt I understand that this differs from industry to industry, product to product. So mine is a high ticket product, a physical product to be exact, and we are doing a B2B business. So how do I channelize my sales? Because I cannot give a free sample of my product. It cannot be a freemium type of strategy as well. So I can get a lot of a lot of people into my funnel at the beginning through all these Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn ads and all those things can work. But what after that? How do I filter out my contacts? So that was.
So can you just clarify what is the product or service that you're giving?
Yes, yes. So it is a solar module. It's a solar panel. Each solar panel will cost you about 7,000 rupees. It is not easy to tell you like that, but generally the transactions happen in about 25-30 lakhs, or even goes about 1 crore to 1.5 crores per transaction. So it's at the end of the day, this is my product and this is my sales, and how do I go about doing it?
So who's your target segment?
So my target segment are these companies which go about procuring modules from someone, inverters from someone, and all the other components, and then they go about to the end customer, that is for installations.
So basically system integrators kind of.
Yeah, so it goes. Yeah, system integrators are my audience, my customers.
So when you talk about a system integrator and they are using it for commercial or residential, these are basically solar panel for generating electricity?
Correct, sir, correct. So these are going to be for both commercial and residential segment. We make modules and we sell it to these system integrators and distributors.
So and why you don't go?
Speaking service.
Why you don't go directly? Just a question, huh?
Because we manufacture modules and we cannot go do the installations. We don't do installations.
Oh, understood. Okay, so
we are not integrators. Yeah.
Understood. Now understood. So basically, what you are looking at is instead of creating a sales funnel, you are actually looking at somebody who's an intermediate. You are actually wanting to build a channel. Okay. So what you are looking at is not, because they are not your end customers. What you are trying to see is how to build a channel. So your question is basically, if I am right, is how to build a channel which can help you to serve your end customer. Okay, so there would be 2-3 different types of channels that you create. One is the system integrator, which is a channel where who buys your product as and when he gets a project. Second is actually you could create a distributor on top of these system integrators, who actually can see if you are going direct sales, you will spend a lot of money on connecting with the system integrators. If you have a distributor who's already supplying them inverters, batteries, or allied products, he will already be in touch with hundreds of such, maybe 50, 100 system integrators. And these system integrators actually they don't give any value to relationship or product or quality. They always believe in price most of the times. So if you have a distributor who can actually work with the system integrators, what you will get is, one is he can keep a stock of your products, that is number one. Number two, by having a distributor, you can actually connect with a lot of people. Suppose in Mumbai, you have 10 distributors. Those 10 can connect to 10 more. So you are connecting with 100. But if you want to connect with 100 directly through your company, just imagine the amount of time, energy and efforts and you will have to put in. That is number one. Number two, you will have to go to the influencers. So who are these influencers? They are basically consultants who speak about solar products, So those are the key people who will actually help you to spec in your product. So what you will have to do is speccing is specifying your product in a tender, or which is very, very important. So your brand has to be specified by those people, and those people are designing the complex. Either it is a commercial or it is a residential. And when they design the complex, they prepare a RFQ, request for quotation. And when the request for quotation is prepared for each and every product, they will actually specify the brands, which are there. So for solar panels, they will specify A, B, C brands. So unless and until your product is kind of specified in that RFQ, you will not be able to kind of pitch in or quote for that product. But if your product is specified in the RFQ, your 50% efforts will come down, of going there. Otherwise, the big brands will not allow you to really get into this particular rat race, and you will always be running. You will be actually only using one kind of say out of the 4 P's, you will use only one, that is price, price, and price. So if you have a product differentiator, go to the consultants, out of the 4 P's, product, price, place, promotion. So go to the consultant, convince him on the USPs of your product and get him to specify this. That is number 1. Number 2, once you specify the product, connect your consultant or the influencer with your distributor. That is number 2. And number 3, build up an independent relationship with the end customers, where you actually share the testimonials of the customers with the new customers, which are there, which will give a belief. Number 4, give your products initially for free installations for some big sites or some key customers. Like L&T is there in the infrastructure segment. In the builder segment, there is Lodha or there is Ringwall or somebody. In the IT segment, that is Infosys or Wipro. So if you have one or two big customers in each segment that you want to target, it is easier for other customers to follow suit and give or try out your products because you are new. So when you say that we will not be able to give anything free, probably you will have to relook at that in the initial stage. Try and give something free to some top customers. You can actually create a mini module and fit these products at the distributor or the consultant's office also, so that they develop that trust within the product. अरे यार मैं खुद use कर रहा हूँ और मुझे satisfaction है. So when they talk to the end customer, that satisfaction will come from their belly. जब हम खुद अंदर से बात करते हैं कि यार मैंने खुद 10 साल ये प्रोडक्ट यूज किया है, 2 साल किया है, वो अलग एक इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करता है. So I think these are my point of view. I may be wrong also.
Thank you so much, Rajan sir. So yes, we are also looking to connect with distributors. So we have been in touch with a lot of people, but I'm still not sure how to push them into the funnel because yes, we are doing some kind of email marketing also, which is not very regular, I would say. So probably that's a different topic for another day. And then how do we indirectly push them? That is my question probably for today's session.
Nilesh sir, can you please take this question?
Yeah, sure.
We have a very big discussion and probably we will have to take it offline. So you can give me a call. You can take my number from, anybody for that matter, so that, actually it will be a very deep discussion. We will have to drive out a lot of things from you and then understand and come back to you. So probably I may not be able to answer in such a short span.
Okay.
Yeah, so Rajan ji is already almost he has pinpointed the exact things which needs to be done. So we had a similar problem with a separate industry. So we were working with a DMC of Bali. Okay, it's the same way they are also B2B. So it's a DMC of Bali. They want to get in touch with all the travel agents in India, so that at the end they will sell the Bali packages. Okay, so the relation between DMC to travel agent, so it's a B2B relation. So what we have done, there are 2-3 things we have done. First of all, one is the cheapest medium to get in touch with them is for sure email. The thing is, with the email marketing, the thing is it's definitely a very risky thing because you understand the technicalities of email marketing. Your email domain might get blocked because of that, but you do it the proper technically. You can utilize that particular channel very, very well. It's cheapest, and number 2, it is well targeted. Unfortunately, in your case, if the business is not happening on the internet, distributors might not open email as a channel. If they are technically well versed, travel agent, they more or less they work on the internet, so they open email. Okay, so that is the thing. Email channel work for them really very, very well. Number 2, if not email, then what could be? It could be SMS, it could be WhatsApp. But I'm just discussing the channel. Frankly speaking, at the core, you have to build up a community of the distributors. Somehow you have to create one ecosystem where your distributors feel that this brand is actually carrying me. This brand is not carrying maybe at the end customer. Even though he is selling solar, to the, I'm going to sell his solar to the end customer, but this brand has created one ecosystem for me. For example, what we have done, we have created one software for travel agent. So the problem was with the travel agent that some customers used to come to the travel agent and they ask for certain pricing. Okay, can you tell me the price? So there was a delay or lag into the package explained to the customer, because then as a travel agent I understand the requirement. I asked the DMC, okay, what is the pricing for this? What can you fit in this particular package? Unless until there is no standard, structure I'm going to sell. Okay, standard product, there is nothing like as a menu card I'm going to sell. But if there is certain variation, then I have to talk to the DMC, get the rates, and then sell it ahead. So what we have done, we created one software which will give them instant pricing. They can do the customization of the product then and there itself, and it's a free of cost. So this helped us to get all the travel agents on board as early as possible, because for them their problem is solved, so that there is no delay in explaining the customized package to the customer, and lesser the delay, higher the conversion rate. So that's why they thought, oh, this is interesting, I can quickly get on the board for this particular software. So this is the software help them to get them on board. Number two, how we build up the community is, as Rajan sir rightly said, that we have tried both online and offline. We started doing the road shows pan India. We called the Bali hotels and all the Bali providers in India, okay, for 10 days. We marked all the cities as per the database. Okay, these are the travel agents we are having pan India, and this is the, let's say, Nagpur, Pune, or Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai. So we have marked those area territories, and we get all the Bali providers to each and individual cities, and we call them for talking to directly to the hotel or the service providers of Bali. So as a travel agent, they have touch and feel, okay, whom I'm going to send this customer. My customer will come and I will send it to Shishira's hotel. So I have seen Shishira, so I know that if some problem come, I can directly contact them. So touch and feel so the communication happens through the road show. So we created the road show, and we have created in such a way that even the company is also earning from that particular road show. It's not like company spending from their own pocket. It's all win-win. We call them. They Bali hotel owners and everyone are very interested to talk to the travel agent, because they know that if I talk to them, then my travel agents in India, they will sell more and more packages of Bali. Somebody coming for, let's say, Maldives, they will sell Bali to them also. So it's both online, offline, but at the core, frankly speaking, it's all community. We have to build a community. We have to give something to the distributors, okay, so that distributors should feel, oh, this brand is actually caring for me. I think you're talking about the EPCs. Are you EPC or you're talking to the EPCs?
So we talk to EPCs also, and we talk to distributors and channel partners also. Yeah, so we need more people in. So
there is only one way to create one platform. Okay, invest in that platform, get them on board, and it's a little bit long-term process. Frankly speaking, it's not like that. It's not that easy. Maybe a WhatsApp as a channel. You have to see whether these distributors are, where are they likely communicate. If they are not techie, they will not reply on email for sure. But are they on WhatsApp? Are they on Facebook? Okay. So maybe you have to create community on the Facebook. Maybe you have to create a media on the WhatsApp. Okay. The way, if you have seen Your Story is doing it, they have a digital media, digital magazine which distributes on the WhatsApp also. So identify the channel where these distributors and EPCs will talk to you. Then you create your community on that particular channel itself, and whichever channel, doesn't matter. If let's say Startup Lane is doing their community on webinar, they are calling it every time all the startups, and they are trying to solve the problem. This is the funnel of Startup Lane. Okay, they are trying to solve the problem of the startups. Okay, so that startups think, when I need a funding, I'll talk to Startup Lane, because they help me by solving little doubts. So they understood okay, these are my probable companies, let me bring them on webinar because they are very comfortable on the webinar. They identified the right channel, now they are building the community over there. So this is how your distributors, are they techie, non-techie, उनको offline मिलना चाहिए, online मिलना चाहिए, and then find that sweet spot. This is what I'm going to do. They are also comfortable, my distributors and EPCs are comfortable to talk to me on this particular medium. This could be WhatsApp, this could be Facebook, okay, maybe a certain kind of a software, CRM, I don't know, it might be a CRM also. Yeah, this is what we have done. We have created a free CRM for our customers, so that they can manage their leads, and it's free of cost. Ideally, CRM is a paid software, but this we sell it as a extra service to our customers. So as a customer, for the next campaign, they come to us only that, oh, I don't need to worry about the CRM and I don't want to manage the data into Excel sheet. This company can give me the leads and give the CRM also free of cost. So this is very good for me. So bring a community is the ultimate solution. How? You have to, the way Rajan sir said, you have to take lots of data and understand how can I build a community. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nilesh sir. Is Karan sir here? I'm finding him. Karan sir? Okay. Do you have any questions here, please? If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box.
And Dheeraj here.
Okay, yeah. Please.
Sir, I was thinking about what you just told me. We are already planned for some kind of conferences or even webinars. But the topic, what we felt was should be around the distributors. So, what do you think? Should it be about around our products, or should it be something that is related to what distributors want? I'm done speaking, sir.
So please.
Can I? Okay. So you're absolutely right. See, the topic has to be interested about the distributor. You don't need to sell your product. You have to just solve the problem of distributor. Distributor should think, okay, he is my problem solver, and at the end, eventually they'll buy a product from you only. You have to identify the main pain points of the distributor. कि उनको तकलीफ कहाँ पे होती है? Because as if it is a very tight market, then the bloodbath is going to happen. The way Rajan sir said that if it is a price, वो किसी के second नहीं होते. They will go कि यार यहाँ पे मेरा ज़्यादा benefit है, I'll purchase from here only. But unless and until we can't keep them at one place unless and until we do not solve their problem. आप अपना product को you give like maybe 5%, 1%. Okay, the way Shishira is doing actually, she just mentioned one line that okay, as a startup line we help startups to get fund. That's it. And then she actually helping to the companies to solve their problem here. 99.99% solve the problem of your customers. So this is how you also need to solve the problem of distributors. This is the main point. I mean, this is the breakthrough you are going to do, that you have to talk to the distributors, identify all the pain points, कहाँ पे problem होता है, and just tell them that okay, I'm going to solve your question. So this is your question, this is your question. Maybe if your distributors are a little bit techy, if they are typing the questions on the Google, you have to take the from Quora.com, or maybe you find all the pain points from the Google, or maybe go to talk to the real set of distributors of your own customers. Identify कि आपके main 10 pain points आप मुझे लिख के दे दो, and I'm going to solve it. Whether it's physical or online, whatever it is. And once you solve that, then only the empathy, then only the connection, the real connection will happen with the brand, and automatically the products get sold. Automatically the product gets sold.
Thank you so much, sir.
do we have any more questions? Okay. Thank you, Dheeraj, for asking your valuable questions here. Just get the discussion going on. Thank you so much. We are open for the panel speaking, please. So if anyone
Hello?
is interested. Yes, sir. Vikas.
Hi. We are into organic grocery pulses actually. So we would like to know, like, how should or how should we create our funnel? Basically targeting our online customer or offline. We just started actually.
Okay.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
I think you must have done all your study of who are your buyers, the organic product. So, like,
Yes.
can you just explain a little bit, like, who are your initial buyers and what is their customer persona? Are they fall into the upper middle class or middle class or like a higher?
Yeah, it's basically of upper middle class actually.
Okay. And
Or like
which area?
sorry.
Which
Yes,
area
sir.
you are selling? Which area you
So
are
right now we are into Delhi actually. So
Delhi.
currently we are thinking about targeting only Delhi NCR rather than going to the pan India.
Okay, so the multiple things maybe. Frankly speaking, if there is some other startup who has done it successfully, I'll first frankly say that go and just check what they have done. You might have done also that. If you know, can you explain what exactly they have done? Who did it? Don't go the top level company like maybe Reliance or something. Not like that. Maybe some company who did it maybe 2 years span. They have done a very good sale because that's a proven model. Frankly speaking, this is a proven model. There are so many proven models are already mentioned, already present in the market. You have to copy. So have you done that kind of a study?
No, not exactly, sir.
Number one, you do a study of those companies who are just 2 year old and they have successfully, generated the sale. It's a proven model. You have to copy that. Okay, number one. Okay, and you can check that to various tools also. And you can check their presence, where the customers are more engaging. I can just explain for this. If you are, let's say, Delhi NCR, you are talking about, maybe it's a high ticket product. Okay, it's a organic. So these people might be English speaking. I'm not sure also.
Mostly
people might be English health conscious.
Health conscious. Yeah.
Health conscious for sure. So what I found that maybe Instagram and Facebook, primarily Instagram will work wonder for you. That you can target, because you can, the way the first gentleman rightly said that psychography. If you target, so let's say I give the targeting, the one who is maybe a fitness freak, who likes organic product, and number 3, they are pay customer. So in the Instagram you can target them. What is the behavior of the person? Is he a high ticket person? Instagram can give you that okay, in this particular area, give me a person who is maybe flying from airlines, or maybe he's a Starbucks customer.
Basically.
Yeah, you can do the targeting. You can get them. That is number one. This is how you sniper target your audience, and you can create that particular channel so that you can save the money and just allocate all the money to this particular channel, and you show them ads of your product so that they can buy. Number 2, influencer marketing will create a wonderful sale for sure. Influencer marketing, you have to choose influencer very correctly, that this particular influencer will attract the kind of audience which you want to sell. Let's say maybe let's say अगर हम लेते हैं एग्जाम्पल आपके केस में हर्ष बेनीवाल एज ए यूट्यूबर लेते हैं, वो कैटेगरी ए है, बट लेट्स से आई डोंट नो एनी फिटनेस, maybe some fitness guy, okay, or maybe some Instagram influencer who is actually giving the information all about, like, how health is important, how fitness is important, and ask them to review your product, review your service.
Maybe some sports person also will do.
Absolutely, because people follow sports person, people follow the evangelists who give the health benefits, or what you can eat, how the people who do create good recipes also. Okay, but make sure that their audience is similar audience of yours. Don't go wider. Okay, as I give you example of Harsh Benjiwal, audience is very wider. He's having low ticket to high ticket everyone. Don't go wider. Go very niche. You don't mind to give influencer who are like having only 5,000, 10,000 followers. But if they are talking in English, they are talking about health, and just see their follower list. Click on their follower list. Check. Okay, is this kind of a customer? Is this kind of a follower can be my customer? If yes, then you can directly ask him to review or your product, or maybe if she is making any recipe, ask her to that. Okay, I ordered this from this, and they're having some delicious this thing, and it's most important, it's organic, and you can also order. Link is in my bio. So influencer, you explore. Okay, frankly speaking, when I say explore, you can take help of very good influencer marketing agency or somebody, but to understand what is influencer marketing, and then get some 3-4 influencer and check how it works for you. See, eventually you have to get a customer and understand what is LTV. You are in e-commerce business. If you are acquiring customer for, let's say, 600 rupee, and the first order itself is maybe 3,000 rupee, and in that, let's say your profit is maybe 400 rupee, let's say, then don't say, oh, I am in the loss of 200. No. You believe in your product, you believe in service, you imagine this person is actually ordering for 1 year. So focus on the metric, which is a customer acquisition, and what is lifetime value of that particular customer. If you don't have that data, maybe at least you start assuming, okay, this is what this person annually spend on me and on my kind of services. So I have to keep my service top notch, my product top notch. So influencer marketing and buying traffic from Instagram, these are the two things I will suggest to sell your organic product. And as I said, number one, go and frankly speaking, copy somebody who already did it. That's the best marketer or best businessman. Actually, they steal the idea.
And what about Facebook?
Okay, I'm really
When
sorry.
I say Instagram, it's Facebook. Yeah, both together.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you
Karan,
so
sir.
much.
So, can you please go ahead? So we can't hear you. Okay, he left. Just give me a minute. Yes, there must be a feature something. Oh. We can go ahead with the discussion. I'm really sorry to interrupt. So he was raising his hand, so I thought he might have some input. So I just had to interrupt. Yeah.
I think he might rejoin.
Yeah. It's really
Yeah. So that is what actually I wanted to add. That sales funnel. When we say sales funnel, actually there is a term sales funnel which is there in the textbook. Okay, there are digital. If you understand the digital marketing a bit, then you'll have various names: webinar funnel, then affiliate funnel, and there are so many terms. But eventually, it boils down to the same thing which traditional business used to do. So if we take the example of you have a very great case study of a tire company. I forgot, it's a very famous tire company. So how they sold their tire in way back where when there was no internet also evolved. Okay, so they printed printed a book. So they found that okay, tire company, how can we sell tire, because in that country nobody was traveling only. Nobody was traveling, so there is no wear and tear of tire. So how we can sell tire? So what they have done, they have created a book where they have mentioned all the name of the restaurants, and they give it for free to all the vehicle owners. So people started reading the books, and they started going for having lunch and dinner, and the wear and tear of the tire started happening, and then they started selling the tire. And I'm talking when the internet was not born. It's very maybe it's 80 years old case study. So that this is also a funnel. They have created some idea, something due to which the brand and the customer started feeling having a connection with that particular book. Okay, this brand is actually helping me to find out good food options in my area. And imagine these people bought the tire from that particular company. It's a very big tire company. I forgot the name. It's very global name I'm talking about. Michelin. Yeah, right. Michelin. So this is what the same thing. It's happening in 80 years old. Even today we have to do the same thing. Build the bond with the customer through content, through community, solve their problems. Eventually, the customer will buy from us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have Karan sir back here.
I'm so sorry, guys. So I was just trying to answer the previous young man's question about the model that you could follow, and I think Licious is one revenue model that you should really look at. In a span of 2 years, I mean, no doubt that they have had about 7 rounds of funding, and they're really well funded. But they have actually seen a 300% growth in the last couple of years. And all these, hyper local grocery delivering kind of models they have followed. I mean, even Licious have followed a farm to fork model. So when your target segment is the upper middle class, you should really bring forward the farmer story, which is the most happening thing right now, and try to sell that. And yes, exactly what Nilesh said, that you should have an influencer marketing will play a very good role. So, I mean, if you are well funded, you look at the likes of Bill and Soman. If not, then you look at somebody in category B, category C. Mad Influence is a very good influencer marketing company. You should contact them. They could probably help you with the initial traction that you need to start going with. But other than that, all these organic startups, be it, I think there's one company called Just Organic, even Naturally, these are all funded, and all these guys have taken the social media route. So that's the best thing to go for. But ensure that from chalk to board, you have followed Licious as if you're really looking at scaling up fast, then Licious is something that you should look at and follow their model. Even Tender Cuts and Fresh to Home had come, but nobody could do exactly what Licious had done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Venkat Krishna Sai is raising a hand. Please go ahead.
Sir, I would like to ask a question regarding our company. So, I work with Shortcode Technologies, and I'm a business development associate. So, what we have struggled to do is to find an ideal customer. So, we develop mobile applications and web applications, and we do all the digital marketing stuff. But our area is very competitive, and it's price competitive. So, we have our main offices in US and Canada, and our team is working from India. So we are trying to find actually clients on from US and Canada, but whatever medium we try to reach out to, it's very competitive and highly priced. So the biggest companies that some of, like the sir has mentioned, that follow the bigger companies, but they are all spending so much of amount of money to market their product. So how, as a startup, as a team of 10 to 12 people, we could stand out and reach to our ideal client and pitch our services? Because we are very confident that once the customer hears us, he'll definitely work with us and refer to other clients. So generally now it's working on referral model. So a consultancy company that my co-founder CEO has joined, so they are giving their projects because they are not able to handle more projects for themselves. So right now there's a middleman in every project that we are getting. So we want to eliminate that and we want to reach that end customer directly. So how could we do that? So if you could help us with it, be great, really grateful.
Okay, sir. Karan, so please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. What's your name, brother? What did you say your name is?
Venkat.
Venkat. So Venkat, see, the space that you are in is very competitive and it's been there for quite some time now. There is no reason and no way that you can probably beat the hell out of competition of people who have been here for a decade. And especially pricing is an issue because digital marketing, when it came in, the bigger agencies got the chunk of bigger clients. But with time, even the smaller clients are looking for social media campaigns and digital marketing campaigns. That being said, if there is nothing fresh on the table, no client would be interested in your services.
Sir, so our main product and service is web and mobile applications. So we want to get customers there. Digital marketing is our new era. We want, if we get clients, that would be good. But
so web and mobile applications, again, it is not something new. All I'm saying is what you build and embed within the web and mobile applications. And if you take one feature, for example, AR is the newest thing or AI is the newest thing, right? You should start marketing the technology rather than the product behind it. Don't market that you sell mobile application. Market the fact that you sell augmented reality. Market the fact that you sell artificial intelligence. And people will automatically look up to you and then start asking you, how can you do artificial intelligence-based campaigns for me? And that is when you can tell them that we are actually embedding them in our mobile application. So sell the feature which is the USP and the in thing right now. Web applications and mobile applications have existed. Like I can buy them for 25,000 rupees anywhere that I go, and I can even go to 25 lakhs. But it is the feature of that web application that will entice a customer. And AR is something that any customer can absorb. Whether it's a retail company, a garment manufacturer, a jewelry designer, anything and everything that has something to do with a product, they can absorb AR very well. So start focusing on AR, start focusing on AI, and try selling that. Build your marketing material and promotional material around AR and AI rather than building it around web and web application. And you will see that the traction of the customers, the potential leads that start coming to you will increase by at least 2x.
Sir, that would take us some time. But right now, to be in a better position than we are, what would you suggest that we could do? Because we are trying all the possible. Yeah.
What I want to ask is, what's the stage of your company? Have you just started yet? Or?
No, it's been from 3 years. So initially it was in Canada. So my CEO was doing all the product management stuff. So right now he's building a team out in India and serving US and Canada clients. So we have clients, we are getting clients, but there's a middleman. So we are in the mercy of them. So we don't want that, and we want to develop our own sales team. But the problem is because of the low budget that we are having, targeting ideal customers has become an issue. So right now what we're doing is we are doing email marketing, we are doing paid campaigns, but and reaching out to people on LinkedIn posts. But all these spaces are too competitive and it's crowded. So to be in a better position than we are. So in future we could, yes, that's a really good, we are really looking forward to implement AR, but right now to grow the company, what's the best thing that we could do?
So rather than using drip marketing campaigns and using paid ads, because they obviously are expensive and then you're targeting a lot of people, I think we should look at startups like the earlier gentleman who had an organic delivery company, right? You reach out to 10 people. You will have to have a middleman or a sales person. You can't not have either of them. So my point over here is, if you only list down, if there is one person, let's say you are responsible for sales, and if you list down the number of startups that are spurring up every month, you can just reach out to the founders directly on LinkedIn. It's absolutely free of cost, and tell them you can create magic for them and at half the cost with the latest technology. You will see a conversion ratio of more than 50% over there. And you will definitely, if they don't come to you at this point in time, they will definitely come to you after 6 months when they raise a round of funding. So you will have to invest some time and not money, but just time into this. If you are at the mercy of your middleman, he's actually somebody who is only going to sell for you and only going to get you the client. when he does get the client for you and he lands up making his commission, he is not liable to make money for you or get clients for you. So you have to take responsibility, step up, and reach out to people like the gentleman before you asked a question. Reach out to these startups, tell them that if the market is giving to them for 100 rupees, you can deliver it the same at 100 rupees only. I'm not going to make it price-wise competitive for you. But yes, I'm going to add this additional feature and then make it more lucrative for you. So that is how you will make your own pipeline. In the next 6 months, you will see India is a place where you have startups coming every week. So there is abundance of data available and everything is free online.
Oh, sir. Thank you. We will look into it right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Do we still have any questions?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
As the answer to the previous guy, should we also focus on the story behind the product rather than on product?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your name is?
My name is Vikas.
Acha, the organic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, you have to focus on the story. Organic is all about farmers. Unless you bring the story in front, unless you do a short movie about it, it doesn't take a lot of money. Do that, get the sentiment going, because you are targeting a very niche category within a subset of a category, within a subset of your target customer. You're not looking at everybody who eats food. Then you are not looking at everybody who eats healthy food, because your food is healthy and it's also expensive. So you're looking at the upper target segment. That being said, they need to be sold. They will buy anything from you, but you need to sell them to them, understanding their pain point. And their pain point is the story behind it, which is the farmer story that you need to bring up.
Yeah.
So focus over there rather than, and don't look at fast delivery or anything. Licious, obviously, it is the food that they sell that has to be brought across the table really fast. But organic food, even if it reaches in 12 hours or 24 hours, nobody is going to complain. Make sure it is fresh, right? It should not be stale. But rather than focusing on fast delivery, because that is something that every hyperlocal is doing.
No, it is not fresh. Like we deals into pulses right now.
So then you don't even have the pressure of ensuring that it is done in a span of 4 hours or so.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So save time from there, save money from there, and use your resources and divert them to get a story across to the client.
So should I focus we are discussing as an office, we are trying to focus on Delhi NCR. So should we focus on Delhi NCR or rather than we going on Amazon also and Flipkart also to target Pan India?
Amazon will not let you make any money initially. Neither will Flipkart let you make any money. They will take more commission from you and you will realize that you've increased your target base, but you haven't really made money out of it. As a startup, you need to see, I understand if you're not funded, then you definitely need to be profitable, because you start becoming unprofitable, you will start losing interest in your own business. So only look at Delhi NCR, ensure that you have a sustainable model over there and then try expanding.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Most good.
Thank you, Karan sir. Do you still have any questions? Okay, great. Well, that was a really interactive session so far. And thanks to all the panel speakers, Karan sir, Nilesh sir, Rajan sir is already here. So yeah, we appreciate you taking time and attending today's event for enlightening all of us here with your knowledge on Sales Funnel. Thank you everyone for joining the event today. Hope you had a wonderful time with us. Stay safe, take care. We'll be ending the session now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.